Hello again, it's Cons, and today we are going to be taking a deep dive into the developer diary that came out and talking about some of the secrets that I think you guys might have missed. I'm almost certain there'll be something on here that proves interesting, but if not, feel free to dislike. If you haven't seen the developer diary, you can either watch the 15-minute version or you can watch my 3-minute summary on the channel where I think I capture all the useful information. Anyway, the first thing I wanted to look at was the level 3 upgrade that we saw in that very quick screenshot. Hopefully it's on screen now, but during the explanation of custom mods, you can see that the weapon that they're upgrading has the potential to become level 3. Now let me show you what that means. I'll go to a greatsword that I haven't used it on. So you can see right now that my Chrome Death Scythe is level 1, and there's 2 possible slots. That one level up doesn't correspond to any of these augments or anything else. It's specifically this extra slots, which grants you that extra augment slot that you can see flashing in green. We've talked about this in the augment video. If you haven't seen that, feel free to check it out. But if I call this upgrade, then can you see I now have 5 slots rather than 4? So what this third level almost certainly means is that we'll be gaining extra augment slots. We'll probably have another 1 or 2 per weapon. Now there's something interesting here that I wanted to show you. You can see that if I increase attack to augment level 2, it says it's maxed out. However, if I take a lower rarity weapon and I try to increase attack, you'll see it goes to more than 2 before maxing out. So previously 2 wasn't actually the max, it just takes your slots, realizes you can't use any more, and then says, okay, I'm gonna max here. So I suspect that with the third level of augment slots unlocked, these augments will be able to reach higher levels, and that's how they're going to incorporate some of the higher rarity materials that we're now going to get from the volcano. Specifically the tempered silverloss and tempered gold Rathian. If you remember, in the developer diary, they say you'll be rewarded handsomely, and they left it at that very sort of cryptically.
What are the rewards like? All I can say is that they'll be handsomely rewarded.
So the thing is, the way that these augments work is the material costs are already fixed based on what rarity you're using and which level augment it is. There's not really anything they can do to change that now. Because you can roll these back and gain the materials back, if they retroactively change what materials are required, there could be some way, that's not the sort of thing that you would do. So I think these materials are going to be used exclusively for the further upgrades. I think there's 2 possible avenues that I want to discuss, and this kind of ties into what they were saying about the custom mod system. Where do these volcano monsters fit in too? Well, that's the thing. If we go to custom upgrades on this weapon, for example, you can see there are 4 here: attack, element, a defense, and affinity. It doesn't matter which one you pick. I've done a video on this. It doesn't matter what one you pick. But you'll notice that at level 3, suddenly, we are missing the defense augment. Isn't that curious? I don't think there's any other... Oh, look! Level 4 is also missing defense augment on greatsword. And this is for all weapons, by the way. They all have some that are missing. I'm fairly certain the volcano monsters will slot into here, and maybe even the silverloss and gold Rathian ones. So this is one way that they can use some of these new monster materials and fit them in without sort of busting what they've already previously established. The other thing is, as we talked about, there's going to be another extra slots upgrade to get to level 3, and that's going to be probably an incredibly sort of difficult to farm for resource. That's going to be very valuable. And so I get the feeling that's also probably going to use the tempered silverloss and tempered gold Rathian materials. The next thing I wanted to talk about are the songs.
We added a music player to the 2nd floor, beside your room's entrance. You can interact with it to select songs from a playlist, or you can talk to your housekeeper. Either method works.
Interesting. We also added a number of songs for players to enjoy, right?
Yeah, that's right. We're thinking of adding other songs in future updates as well.
If you saw, when they pulled up the song page, there was a very quick flash of the list of songs you could see, and it didn't seem like there were any other pages. I'll hopefully have that up now. And if you look very carefully, you can see that there is a Moga village theme, which is the theme from Monster Hunter 3, and there is a theme referencing Val Habar, the hub world. I don't know if I pronounced that right. The hub world from Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. So yeah, hopefully we're going to get some renditions, maybe even the original versions, probably some sort of remixed renditions of some of the best older themes in Monster Hunter history. I really hope we get things like, Yukumo but anyway, just a curious little thing there. If you paid close attention, you would have seen some of those songs. If you, again, right at the end, when they summarize all the information in text, they do mention that that's going to be those 2 songs are going to be part of a song pack, which is going to be paid DLC, unfortunately. So yeah, do keep that in mind. Let's have a look at the layered armor that they've shown us.
For the first title update, we racked our brains about what new features we could introduce with the guiding lands.
We decided to bring back some of the armor from Monster Hunter World as layered armor. In Iceborne, you can now craft layered armor right at the smithy.
You can see on this screenshot here, checking the low/high rank layered armor that you can make, and you'll notice that it seems like we're suspiciously near the bottom of the list. Of course, it's potential that this is just a work in progress, but I don't think so. They've recorded and released this so close to release. I think that's the final state. So now let's have a look at the armor that corresponds to. You can see right towards the bottom we are at Tobi Kadachi. Oh, one other thing quickly. You'll notice that, for example, some of the armor in that list allows you for alpha and beta, but here it doesn't. Let's talk about that quickly. What happens if I preview Jagress Alpha and Jagress Beta? Can you see how it's the exact same armor set, just with a color swap? That's the reason a lot of the armors don't show Alpha and Beta versions. That's all. Nothing more complicated than that. Whereas one that does have Alpha and Beta, like Anjanath, for example, you can see there are significant differences between the armors, and that's why they're giving us both sets for layered. So if we find the endpoint, Kadachi, here we go. This is the last thing that we saw on the sheet. You can see it doesn't really go much further down, does it? In the image. However, we have a long way to go here. And I think that's because we will only be able to make rare 5 armor pieces as part of the layered set, at least for high rank. For master rank, we have no way of knowing right now. Now, if you actually look at the size of that bar, you might think, oh, but that doesn't make sense because, look, there aren't enough here to sort of make up for that, especially because most of these are just recolors of each other. Well, the thing is, high rank and low rank are combined. And so I believe that all of these fall under the list as well. And that sort of balances out the size of the scroll bar that we're seeing and sort of makes it make sense. Now, here's the most important part. So as you can see, I've pulled up the website describing the 11.1 update. What you'll notice is further down, they specifically have a section that talk about the new guiding lens. This stuff wasn't mentioned in the developer diary. However, a friend pointed it out to me. Adjustments have been made to make the guiding lens easier to play. I would say less tedious, but anyway. Region level change fluctuation has been adjusted. This has changed the rate at which it increases and decreases. So at level 7, where doing any other quest in any other area would make it drop significantly, is now equivalent to what level 3 used to be. So there is still fluctuation, and I believe that's because you need to have like level 1 to get some of the less rare monsters to spawn, and like the lower levels you need to make some of the less rare monsters spawn. However, it's much less significant. Anyway, this pales in comparison to what's coming up in a second. Special drop, so we're going to be getting more lures basically. Region levels can now be fixed. This is probably the most important change. If you set region levels to fix, your own region levels will not fluctuate whether you're the quest leader or just joining another player's quest. There is now the ability to fix your region levels so that they do not fluctuate. So if you have your forest at level 7, for example, and you want to just farm monsters in your guiding lands and keep your forest at level 7, you won't be able to adjust it. Now, this isn't necessarily... This, in combination with the first change, where the increase and decreases have changed, means you could probably get all of them up to level 6 or 7 and then lock them all in place. Adjustment 4 isn't that important, to be honest. And I'm not entirely sure what Adjustment 5 means. I think it's in reference to some sort of bug that they've patched out. But yeah, so the key things is you will now be able to lock your region levels in place so that they do not change. And they have adjusted the rates at which the region levels change so that they're a little bit more scaled down, a little bit easier to sort of level up. There are other things like we see Dodogama inside the Elders, but you know, you can see that yourself. You knew that. I'm trying to keep this to information that I thought maybe people missed. I'll have another one over just to see if there's anything I've missed, but hopefully that's it. Yeah, I hope I showed you something you didn't notice, and I look forward to joining you in the guiding lands, hopefully when they're slightly less tedious tomorrow. All right, you have a lovely day. Bye-bye.